Ian's drone-based paper route, a story written by Mike Cervantes. It was the start of summer, and the Headwater family had just moved from New York to a small rural part of Delaware. It was a fun and exciting adventure for all of them, but it was soon obvious that something especially important got left behind. The youngest of the Headwater family, a boy named Ian, used to have his own source of income, a paper route. When they lived in the city, Ian would wake up every morning to deliver his stack of wrapped newspapers. But their new home and their neighbors' homes were on some pretty steep hilltops. Papers usually got delivered by truck, and it would be too hard up the hills for Ian to try riding his bike and delivering the paper. Ian's dad, Thaddeus, knew he was disappointed that he couldn't keep his paper out, but tried to do a few things in order to cheer Ian up. On a summer day when Thaddeus could pull himself away from work, he took Ian to the countryside and showed him a new tool he had purchased to take photos in the hilltops. It was a drone. When Ian saw the drone, he was captivated. Already a brilliant new idea was forming in his head. The next day, Ian biked all around his new community to keep track of the houses. Then he stopped at the general store to buy all the newspapers his allowance would allow. Once Ian got home, he drew up plans and showed them to his dad. Thaddeus was a bit reluctant at first, but he could see how important it was for his son to put this to the test. So he agreed and let Ian pilot the drone. The next day, Ian's neighbors were delighted to see the drone stop at their homes with the newspaper dangling on a string ready to be delivered. Some of the neighbors took the paper themselves, but for the ones who could not make it outside, Ian did a small jig with the drone and the paper would shake loose and land on top of the porch of the house. Once word carried around the neighborhood, every one of Ian's neighbors found their way to the Headwaters house. They were all amused by the young boy's ingenuity and the way he delivered their papers. They called up the newspaper and told them to give all of their business to Ian so they could see the brilliant boy fly his drone in front of their homes again. And so, everything was fixed within the Headwater house. Ian had his paper route again, and every morning he'd wake up to start his drone flight across the neighborhood to deliver everyone's papers. The news was so great, it turned out, that just a week later, Ian himself landed on the front page of the newspaper in a story all about Ian's drone-based paper route.